The indigo shadows of the sanctuary stretch long against the cooling stone as the clock strikes the 7th hour of the final day. There is a specific gravity to this late assembly, a gathering of the weary who carry the dust of the weekend on their souls, and the anticipation of the coming labor in their quieted hearts. Here, under the dimming rafters, the air is thick with the scent of extinguished beeswax and the lingering sweetness of the afternoon's incense. Yet something more ancient begins to stir. The choir, a small constellation of voices in the loft, prepares to breathe life into the silence. Their harmony's not of a triumphant morning, but of a deep, sustaining dusk. We stand at the threshold where the temporal meets the eternal, where the simple fruit of the earth and the work of human hands are poised to become the sustenance of the soul. Listen to the rustle of the grain in the wind of the Judean hills, a sound transposed into the soft shuffling of feet moving toward the center aisle. This is the threshed gold of the field, ground between the heavy stones of our shared burdens, moistened by the tears of our collective longing, and fired in the kiln of a love that refuses to remain distant. The lyrics of Cooney rise like a slow burning flame, reminding us that we do not merely come to observe a miracle, but to be consumed by one. I myself am the bread of life, the melody insists, not as a static relic behind glass, but as a living pulse, a brokenness that heals, a poverty that enriches the beggar and the king alike. The 7 p.m. choir understands the nuance of the minor key, the way the harmony leans into the dissonance of our daily lives, before resolving into a grace that feels like coming home. In this bread, there is the memory of the Passover moon and the shadow of the cross, yet it is flavored with the hope of an empty tomb. It is the food for the journey through the wilderness of the modern street, the calories of the spirit needed to survive, the indifference of the world. As the cup is raised, it reflects the amber glow of the vigil lamps, a reservoir of mercy for the parched throat. We are invited to a table that knows no borders, a feast where the currency is faith and the only requirement is hunger. The choir's song becomes a between the altar and the exit, a reminder that the liturgy does not end when the doors are locked, but begins when the crumbs of this sacred meal are carried out into the dark. The architecture of the evening is built on these phrases. Those who come to me shall not hunger, spoken into the hollows of our own inadequacy. We are a people of the twilight, seeking the light that does not fail as the sun departs. The bread is passed, the wine is shared, and in the intimacy of this 7 p.m. communion, the distinction between the giver and the gift begins to blur. We become the body we receive, we become the life we celebrate. The music swells not We walk out into the cooling city, under the stars that witness our smallness, bearing within us the fire that was kindled at the altar. The week ahead may be long, and the challenges may be many, but the resonance of the 7 p.m. choir remains a rhythmic heartbeat of hope, a persistent echo of the promise that we shall never walk alone, fed by the hand of the one who is both the host and the meal. The bells have ceased their bronze complaint, and now the sanctuary holds the amber weight of 7 o'clock. We stand as a small assembly of the twilight, our breath catching on the syllables of ancient promise as the day folds its weary wings. The air is thick with the scent of melted wax and the cool breath of stone, a Catholic silence that prepares the way for the shepherd's entry. He does not come as a tyrant of the storm, but as the quiet governance of the soul, a king whose scepter is a staff of gnarled olive wood. In this hour, the frantic pulse of the world slows to the rhythm of the cantor's lead, and we recognize that to be ruled by him is to finally be free from the anarchy of our own desires. Sovereignty is the gravity that keeps our wandering hearts from drifting into the void, a divine magnetism that pulls the stray back to the warmth of the communal fold. The green is the color of his mercy, yet tonight it manifests as the deep emerald of a forest at rest, hidden from the scorching glare of the noonday sun. He leads us not to the shallow, muddy ponds of earthly distraction, but to the silver still waters of a grace that reflects the stars. There is no haste in his command, only the steady, patient pace of one who has walked the Via Dolorosa and knows the exact weight of a human spirit. We are the sheep of his pasture, bruised by the week's long labor and the sharp briars of our own making, seeking the grass that grows where the light of the tabernacle falls. He unbinds the heavy yoke of our ambitions and points toward the meadow of the Spirit, where the only requirement is to be still and know the providence of the one who names us. Even as the shadows lengthen across the nave, stretching like long dark fingers toward the high altar, we do not falter at the onset of the night. The valley of the shadow is no longer a place of terror, but a between the day's fatigue and the eternal dawn. His rod is the strength of the cross, a vertical truth in a horizontal world. His staff is the whisper of the Spirit in the ear of the frightened, a gentle hook that pulls us back from the precipice of despair. When the world screams its chaos and the wolves of anxiety howl at the doors of our minds, his voice remains the velvet gravity that keeps us grounded. I shall not want for vanity or the heart the city. For the shepherd provides the bread of life that suffices for the journey through the deepest gloom. A table is spread before us in the sight of every ghost that haunts our history. A liturgical feast prepared by the hands that were pierced for our sake. He pours the oil of gladness upon our weary brows, a chrism of restoration that heals the cracks of doubt and the scars of our secret wars. The cup is not merely full, it is a fountain, a spill of crimson grace that stains the common cloth of our mundane lives with the purple of a celestial royalty. We sit as guests of the High King, transformed from beggars into heirs, eating the silence that nourishes more than any earthly banquet. The enemies of our peace, shame, regret, and the fear of the end, stand back in the shadows, blinded by the radiance of this holy hospitality and the unbreakable rule of the Shepherd King. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow us, not as passive observers, but as persistent hunters of our hearts, chasing us through the gray streets of Monday and the trials of the midweek sun. They are the twin hounds of heaven, relentless in their pursuit until we return to the house where the incense never fades. At 7 o'clock on the side of Sunday, the cycle of the week finds its holy resolution, and we find ourselves tucked within the thick wool of the shepherd's cloak. We shall dwell in the house of the Lord, not as transient visitors or strangers at the gate, but as the very stones of the temple, forever held in the loving gaze of the one who rules our life with a devotion that will never let us go. The choir's final note ascends into the rafters, leaving us anchored in the peace of a kingdom that has no end.
The hammer strikes the wire in a cathedral of felt and spruce, where the piano begins its solitary pilgrimage. A soft descent of notes like rain, falling upon the dry parchment of the soul. There is a quietude in the ivory keys, a deliberate pacing of Arbolita's vision that counts the heartbeats of the weary before the first word is ever uttered. Then comes the violin, a slender reed of wood and resin, weeping upward in a glissando. That's the distance between the earth and the firmament. It does not merely play a melody, it sighs the ancient longing of the anima Christi, pulling a silver thread through the silence, vibrating with the tension of a spirit that is both broken and being mended. This is the prelude to the indwelling, the preparation of the vessel for the wine and the water that are about to flow from the side of the transcendent. Soul of Christ, be the breath within my own lungs, a sanctification that moves not as a concept but as a tangible warmth spreading through the marrow. The choir rises now, the Bucas Palette Collective, a tapestry of voices that carries the weight of 1,000 Sundays and the intimacy of a single whispered confession. Their harmony is the architecture of mercy, building a roof of song over the listener, where every alto's depth and every soprano's light serves to illuminate the darkness of the human condition. Body of Christ, save me, not from the world but within it, becoming the very substance of my resilience. The piano ripples underneath like the surface of a disturbed pool, reflecting the fractured light of grace, while the violin sustains a high shimmering note that feels like the very edge of a cloud touched by the setting sun. Blood of Christ, inebriate me. Let the vintage of the cross wash away the thirst for things that do not satisfy. There is a holy intoxication in this movement, a rhythmic ebb and flow, where the percussion of the piano's lower register grounds the celestial flight of the voices. Water from the side of Christ wash me, not merely a cleansing of the skin, but a deluge for the interior deserts. A river finding its way through the canyons of the heart's hidden grievances. The music swells here, the violin becoming more urgent, its vibrato a pulse of desperation and hope intertwined. It is the sound of the spiral, becoming a portal, an invitation to hide within the cleft of the rock. Passion of Christ, strengthen me, for the journey is long and the mountain is steep, and only the memory of the suffering God can provide the fortitude to endure the silence of the Saturday tomb. Oh good Jesus, hear me. Let the prayer transition from a liturgical rite into a desperate with me breathing. Within thy wounds hide me. Let the jagged edges of thy pain be the sanctuary, where my own scars find their resonance and their rest. The choir's voices thicken, a wall of sound that is neither harsh nor heavy, but enveloping like a shroud made of light. Do not permit me to be parted from thee. The piano insists with the recurring motif, a stubborn insistence of grace that refuses to let go of the hem of the garment. From the malignant enemy defend me, from the shadows that whisper of unworthiness and the cold winds of abandonment. The violin now dances in a counterpoint of protection, a soaring bird circling the fortress of the melody, warding off the night with the frantic, beautiful clarity. In the hour of my death, call me and bid me come to thee, that with thy saints I may praise thee forever and ever. The music begins its long, translucent fade, the voices thinning into a singular, holy vibration. The violin returns to its lowest string, a resonant woody hum that mimics the settling of the earth, while the piano offers one final crystalline chord that hangs in the air like incense in an empty nave. This is the Bucas Palette, the open hand, surrendering the song back to the silence from which it was born. The lyrics have dissolved into the atmosphere, leaving only the scent of the sacred and the lingering vibration of a soul that has, for a few minutes, been but a door left slightly ajar, through which the light of the soul of Christ continues to pour into the quiet rooms of our ordinary lives. In the deepening amethyst of the seventh hour, when the Sabbath sun leans low against the leaded glass, a silence settles upon the nave like the weight of ancient water. Here the clock counts not in seconds but in heartbeats, marking the threshold where the day's labor dissolves into the vesperal glow. We gather, a collective of lungs and longing, positioned in the tide.
The ember wick of the Sabbath day flickers low against the salt-crusted window pane, where the dust of a week's labor settles in the silence of the nave. It is 7 in the evening, and the shadows are long and lean, like the masts of ghost ships docked in the harbor of our weariness. We stand in the half-light, 4 voices woven into a single rope of sound, waiting for the vibration that begins not in the throat, but in the ancient rhythmic pull of the moon upon the marrow. There is a rustle of sheet music, a sound like dry leaves on a beach, before the first note rises from the wooden floorboards to claim the air. The call is not a thunderclap, but a whisper of shifting silt, an invitation carved in the wet sand of a heart that has forgotten how to swim. Walk with me away from the paved certainties of the town, away from the locked gates and the ledger books, toward the place where the horizon loses its hem, and the sky bleeds into the brine. I hear the basses first, a low and steady swell, like the tectonic shifting of the ocean floor, anchoring the promise in the deep cold where the light rarely reaches, but the pressure is a firm embrace. They sing of the stones we have carried in our pockets, the heavy grievances that sink us, and they bid us drop them into the kelp forests of the forgotten. Then the tenors rise, a current of warm water moving northward, carrying the melody of the shoreline, the sound of sandals clicking against the pebbles of Galilee. They are the movement, the stride, the kinetic energy of a footfall that does not hesitate when the ground becomes fluid. They sing of the nets we had spent our lives mending, the tangled threads of our own making, and the radical grace of leaving them behind to rot in the sun, while we pursue a path that leaves no footprint. The altos enter with the scent of the evening mist, a violet harmony that's the gap between the depths and the spray. Theirs is the voice of the twilight, the 7 p.m. realization that the day is gone and the infinite is all that remains. They sing of the salt that stings the eyes but heals the wound, the bitter beauty of a surrender that feels like drowning, until the lungs learn to breathe the spirit. And above them all the sopranos break like the white crest of a breaking wave, a crystalline light that shatters against the rocks of our resistance. They are the spray, the foam, the ephemeral beauty of the now, calling us upward melody insists through the marshlands of your doubt, where the reeds hiss with the secrets of your failures. Follow me where the air turns sharp and the scent of ozone and iodine replaces the stale incense of the cloister. The sea is not a metaphor for peace, but a crucible of power, a restless majesty that demands everything and returns it transformed. We are walking toward the edge of the world, leaving the artificial glow of the street lamps for the bioluminescence of the divine. Every measure we sing is a fathom deeper into the mystery. We are no longer individuals with names and social standings. We are collective resonance, a human organ played by the wind of a Galilean ghost who still haunts the docks of our modern souls. The rhythm of Ray Rep's ghost chant pulses in our blood, a folk-hewn simplicity that cuts through the ornament of the ages. It is the music of the common man standing before the uncommon God, the fisherman's call translated into the Sunday night sigh of the city. We sing until the walls of the church dissolve into the fog, until the pews are but driftwood and the altar is a reef of coral. The sea does not ask for our permission to be vast, it simply is. And the call does not ask for our readiness, it simply commands. We are being pulled by the undertow of a love that is too heavy to be buoyant and too light to be buried. Listen to the way the harmony resolves, not with the finality of a closing door, but with the openness of a harbor mouth. The 7 p.m. choir is a vessel of weathered wood, leaking but sanctified, sailing on a sea of voices into the dark, where the stars reflect in the black water like fallen coins. We follow the sound of the water, the crashing of the eternal against the temporal, until the song is no longer something we do, but something we are. The salt is on our lips, the dampness is in our clothes, and the horizon is finally vanished into the embrace of the deep. There is a rustle of sheet music, the sound like dry leaves on a beach.